after a lot of discussion, we decided that we're gonna actually have our cabinets go into the very back. We're gonna put some polyiso there for insulation, but it just gives us a lot more room, and because Dylan's tall, we don't want the cabinets to go out too far or he would get hurt. So we ended up cutting off bits of our furring strip so that we can go back there for the cabinets. So today we're making hanging cabinets, and we've cut the pieces of the frame for our 2 hanging cabinets. We have one that's going to be 80 inches wide, and the other one's just going to be a small one on the other side, so it's just going to be 2 feet. We are using 1x2 pieces of common board to make the frame. We've made the frame of just the singular cabinet that's going on the passenger side, and now I just need to make the other frame. Notice we countersinked our screws and then we screwed the pieces together. So this right here is 24 by 10. Hurricane Ida has hit DC, or the remnants of it, but we're busy working away. Dylan's going to use this countersink bit to countersink, and then again we're going to screw them in just like we did over here. For the bottom of the cabinets, we're using 1/2-inch birch plywood. And we're gonna have to use a couple pieces because they don't have any 4x8s because of the lumber shortage. But we are cutting it to about 17 inches deep. So right now we're putting our base of our cabinets with the face of the cabinets, and we're using these corner brackets. We're gonna drill pilot holes and then put some 1/2-inch screws in them to hold it together. So our face and our plywood baseboards are all now screwed together, and we've even cut a hole because we're making ours flush against the back of the van. So that hole is the cutout of the van shape. We're gonna use cardboard to help us figure out the templates for the side of the cabinets and also the separators for the cabinets.
So we're gonna use cardboard first because where this is in the van, the ceiling comes straight across and then starts to curve in the corner. So eventually our design is probably gonna be something like this. In order to fit, there's like a piece of ceiling that we have right here, and then ceiling that comes across like this.
Here we are using this piece of cardboard to try and fit our template into the van. Right now I'm going to cut out the sides of the cabinet. So what I've done is I've drawn a line, and I'm going to cut out like 2 different sides of the cabinet out of this piece of 1/4-inch plywood. And first I'm going to cut it out, and then I'm going to figure out the angle on the van so I know exactly how to cut my angle. First I'm just going to make it into a square.
We're putting up this piece right here for the other big cabinets. How these work is we have these toggle bolts which pinch down like this and get pushed through this hole so that when they're up and when they come back out they open up, so then they clamp down on the ceiling. As you can see, these 2 are already put in, and I just have to push the rest of them in.
Again, because we wanted our holes to go up straight, we took the bottom part of the cabinet off to put this in, and now we're going to put the bottom part of it back on. The hanging cabinet is in with its dividers. All we need to do is this outside one because we want it to be perfect. But it's looking really good. We realized when putting up our upper cabinets that there would be a little slight bit of an angle if we didn't add some room to the height. So we've painted these 2x2s, and we're gonna add those to the very top of the upper cabinet, and they're gonna be like the support system that goes into the ceiling. We've already primed and painted them. I'm gonna do one more coat and then they'll be ready to go. We used toggle bolts to hold this upper part. We had to add that because we realized we actually wanted them to be a little taller than we had originally planned for. And then for this piece of the cabinet, we ended up taking it apart so that we could get a straight angle on the screws up to the top of that piece so that they're all lined up. And now we're gonna put that other part of the hanging cabinet on. Look at this beautiful hanging cabinet structure. It's in, and now we just have to do obviously the sides and then the doors.
So in order to make the cabinet doors, we have these frames and these pieces of 1/4-inch plywood to put in the middle. As you can see, they don't necessarily fit perfectly, but they're close. So I just use this oscillating tool sander attachment to kind of shave down the edges where they need to go. And then what I ended up with was it pinched perfectly in so that it stayed put. And then on the back side of it, I put a little bit of wood glue around the edges to keep it in place.
Our cabinet doors are all assembled, and now it's time to paint them. Look, our friends are helping us out today, touch up our hanging cabinets, paint, and finish up some last minute details. We had extra of our flooring vinyl, so instead of doing a whole complicated back, we're just using the flooring vinyl because it's kind of thicker to be the back. All the cabinet doors are now painted blue, and so now it's time to put the hinges in. In order to put our hinges in, I have a concealed hinge jig as well as a concealed hinge bit. And then here are my hinges. They're 1 1/4 overlay, and they're pretty much the smallest ones I could find. So you can see I have the Craig concealed hinge jig connected to my cabinet door. I've set the depth to 3 millimeters because that's what it said for the hinge I have. The circle is gonna go in the center of here. It doesn't go all the way to the edge. As you can see, it's like bigger than the edge itself. Once you have your Craig jig set up, so these are all the way in, that's what this does. It like stops it from going further. Then you put the drill bit into a drill. And then you're gonna turn this so it locks in, and then you're going to drill clockwise. Craig jig also lets you drill pilot holes. You have to use the 1/16 drill bit, but I've been just drilling pilot holes into it and then using my larger drill bit after to make the size that I need. I'm putting the hinges onto the cabinet doors. These hinges that I got from Home Depot have these dowels, so you have to drill the holes to be as big as a dowel, and then you just press them in and they stick. So this one is not all the way in yet. I'm going to like hammer it a little bit to get it in, but these ones are all the way in. Now all of the hinges are on the doors, so the next step is to put the cabinet handles on, and then I'm going to put them in. The handles are on all of the cabinet doors, and now it's time to put them in. The first cabinet door is in, woo, and now we got to do the rest of them. So in order to put these hinges on the door, we made pilot holes where this screw goes. And then we just screwed the hinges into the frame, and now we've got a door. My mom just helped me put these magnetic pieces on the hanging cabinet so that they don't fly open when we drive. And just like that, the cabinet doors are in and the cabinets are done. If you liked our video, don't forget to subscribe so you can follow along on our van adventures. We're already on them.